Hungry Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with another episode of Quilt Bingo. Yay! Today we're doing the wheels, right? Like all the wheels. And this particular block is called Jelly Donut, right? So, but it's all about wheels and doing round things or things that move around in a block. So today's going to be a lot of fun. But first, let's do our shout out. I have a twofer for you. I have Jody at Quilt Squirrel, and her channel is having so much fun over there. You guys got to go check her out. And then Handmade by Ying with Donna. Now, Donna is a very good friend of mine, and she's always doing some fun project. And right now we're filming this the 26th of September, and she's doing some fun stuff with all her scraps. You guys got to go check her out. And she does a lot of lives, like Mondays and Fridays, right? So, I mean, depending on where you are, you know, like you have to go check and see when her lives are on. But it's always a lot of fun. And she's such a sweetheart of a lady. So you got two. Now, those two YouTube channels are going to be in our show notes below. So you got to get into those show notes. All of that is so much fun. Now, once Quilt Bingo is done, and Quilt Bingo, like, I'm amazed how many blocks we have left. Like, we don't have a lot left to do, right? But this has been a fun challenge. Twinkle Twinkle will start maybe a couple of videos after Quilt Bingo is done, and we do a wrap-up of Quilt Bingo. And I still haven't decided whether I'm making twin quilt tops or whether I'm making like couch throws or what I haven't decided yet. So I'm going to see how the blocks play together well. But this one, like I say, is Twinkle Twinkle, and your only clue is save your strings. So if you haven't got any strings, or your anti-string, you can also cut from regular pieces too, because you're just going to make such a fun little quilt. Also, Mini Monday is coming back with some changes. We're doing blocks that are smaller than 12.5 inches unfinished, and we get to play around with all sorts of other things and techniques. And, you know, there's going to be some small piecing. There's going to be some foundation paper piecing, of course, English paper piecing maybe, and some hand sewing. I'm not sure yet exactly how that's playing out, but I've got lots and lots of fun ideas for Mini Monday, and now we get to change the block sizes, so we're going to have some fun with this. Also, our Zoom sew dates are the first Saturday of each month. We just have so much fun on those Zoom sew dates. It's a hoot. So 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and if you don't feel like sewing that day and you want to come, please do, and bring your knitting or crocheting or whatever you're working on. It's all about including you and having a good time. Also, make a comment, share, like, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss content. Put the thumbs up. All of those things help drive our analytics so that we can continue bringing you fun, free patterns every week, right? My husband and I are just having a blast doing this, and we feel so blessed with all the wonderful people we've met along the way. So this has been so much fun. And as a viewer, we would love to hear from you. So please make your comments. Also, we have a virtual a Facebook group, and if you need to get into the Facebook group, if you're part of the Facebook community and want to get in, please answer the questions and agree to the rules. The admins aren't letting people in that aren't answering the questions and aren't agreeing to the rules, and we're telling people why we're not letting them in. So if you want in, and because it's a big fun group and we have all sorts of community chats, we have a virtual sewing room hosted by Discord, and we do fabric exchanges by country to keep postal costs down, and there's always something going on in those community chats. There's always some fun thing going on. So it's a really good group if you're part of the Facebook group. Let's see, I speak for free about elements of design, and of course, making charity quilts, and of course, working with scraps, because this is what we're working with. And we have had just a lovely time talking to all sorts of guilds and groups, and it's just been amazing. Now, I am putting together a second presentation that will be ready December of 2025. So if your group or guild has already had me speak, please, you can rebook me after that time, and we'll give you the second presentation. Now, the second presentation is a bit of a surprise, so you have to, you have to get me to book me to do this. So now, also shout outs, you guys, if you're seeing quilting channels that are working hard, having fun, just having a great time, right? And they're fun to watch. They're nice people. They're working hard. Please send them my way. Now, both for speaking for free or shout outs, there's an email address under the About tab, and then there's also, you can reach me in the Facebook group. Now, I am faster in the Facebook group than I am in the emails. I am trying to rectify that, but time is short around here because I spend a lot of time in my sewing room. But yes, but please do continue sending those shout outs. Right now we're doing two at a time because I want to get through this list before Christmas. And I'm hoping that, everybody gets some new subscribers out of this as well. I think that's it. Yes, come on in here. Let's start our wheels by our sewing with the jelly roll. Or jelly donut. Okay, so now jelly donut is one that's going to go like this. I'll just show you the quarter, right? Just like that, right? So what we want to do is we want to sew these pieces together first, right? So I'm just going to take them one at a time to the sewing machine, and we're just going to line these babies up just like so. Nice and neat. Just take your time. And you want to sew all of these together. So if you start with the blue on top, you want to end with the blue on top. And that way, all of your pieces will be the right way. Now, when I did the pattern, I just cut these out like you would a dress. Like when you're dressmaking, you cut out a pattern, you pin it to the fabric, and then then you cut. That's how I did these, and I had pretty good success. Now, this one lends itself to scrappy. So if you did not have enough of one color to go all the way around, you could mix this all up. Because the only thing you're looking for is the shape, right? Now, there. And I don't have any, okay. I don't have any leader and enders. Oh no. Oh, that's okay. Now I'm just going to press to the dark. There. And I'm going to sew this here, just like so. There. There we go. When I was contemplating wheels and thinking about how I wanted this, because you're learning how to put pieces together, I debated on a few things, and I thought, okay, the hard wheel is not as hard as everybody thinks it's going to be, but you do have to have a little more skill to put that one together because of all the Y seams. But I very much enjoyed coming up with these for you. Now, see, when you sew them all the same way, then all of a sudden you have this. If you had all of a sudden this go on, where you have the two blues together, well, you gotta unpick it, right? So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna lay this out, and we're going to make our circle. There we go. And the other side of the circle. There. And now we have an entire circle. So we can now just treat this like an inset circle, right? Except we're going to continue, pressing. What is this? Pressing to the dark. And now you have 8 sections here, all going the same way. Hang on. Let me just take this. Now you don't want to stretch anything on the outside or the inside. And you want to check to see, make sure your circle's like an inch bigger. It's going to fit. Now, I'm going to just take this. Where's my straight grain? Where's my straight grain? Here. So I'm just going to take this just like this. And I'm going to put little divots. I'm just going to put them in with my thumbnail as to the half, the quarter, there, yeah, and the eighth. Now the eighth is a little bit harder to do, right? You just want to make sure that everything, as much of that lines up as possible. Now, inset circles is one of these skills you can build on, right? So now I've got all the eighths marked, and I'm going to pin those just so I have everything that I need, all the markings that I need. And you don't want to pin deep. You just want to pin into like not even 1/4 of an inch. You know, you just want to pin very shallow around, because it's more important to match your, this is going to help you match up your lines. Okay, and just whip around here. Yeah. These reels were fun to make. I just had a blast with this one. I had to do the hard one twice because I printed, the first one I printed off at the wrong size. And then I realized, oh yes, it's supposed to end up at 12.5. Well, I printed the pattern. I created the pattern the wrong size, so I had to redo the pattern. So the pattern now is correct. Just so that you guys know. The pattern now is correct, and it will be unfinished at 12.5 inches, just like the rest of these blocks. Okay, so now we go. All right, so now we're going to just do a very simple inset seam, and I'm just going to move this out just a little bit further out of the way. And okay, is that, yeah, oh wait, is that, okay, it's that. This and this go together, okay. And then my foot drops off. Well, let's turn on the light, that'll help. Now I want to line up that seam with the pin underneath. Right, so I just want to take a couple stitches back and forth just to get it started. And then we're going to remove pins as we go, because we don't need a lot of pins. So now the next one, the next bit is going to be here at this seam allowance, right? This seam right here, but you got to get it kind of, you know, you still have to kind of wiggle this in a bit just to get this moving around. And you want to line up this, and we line this up. Yay! There. Now, pull that out, and the next pin is here, and this is where we're going to try and line this up the best we can. And just take your time. This, I don't know, I really enjoyed these inset pieced seams. I just thought, oh wow, they're so cool. So cool to do. There we go. There we go. Take out another. Oops. And now, because all of this is on a bias that you're sewing, both up and down, you have to kind of take your time. Don't be tempted to pull, because lining up is different than pulling. And that's something to keep in mind when you're doing these, is don't be tempted to pull just to make it faster. You know, yeah, pulling does not work. As you just witnessed me pulling the fabric. Okay. There we go. And now that one's out quite a bit. Okay, there. Okay, well, let's just keep going and hope that this works a little bit better. Now, when you're doing this many seams on a circle, the work wants to press in, right, into the circle, and that's okay. And you don't have to clip it or nothing, and it will lie flat. There we go. Here. Just 2 more. We're down to 3/4 of the way. Well, we only got 3/4 left. Or, 3/8 left. There we go. There. 1/4 left. Okay. Now, as I'm maneuvering this, I'm maneuvering trying to stay in the middle of the piece, not the outer edge, because that is going to create a distortion. And that's not what we need. The last thing we need is a distortion. Okay, now, the last little bit. All the way to the end. Yay! Okay, so you clip that. Now, everything wants to push in because of all the seams on the outside, and we can make that happen. That's fine. Just let it happen. And we're just going to take a quick little, finger press around. And if there is any little puckers, this is a good time to address them. Sometimes a pucker, especially a micro pucker, you can feel it with your thumbnail as you're finger pressing around, but you can't necessarily see it. That, if you just work over it a few times back and forth, it scratches out. So here we are, there, just perfect like that. Now, we're going to go back. And I've cheated and I've left a little bit extra on the outside edge because that's the way we're rolling here. And we're just going to sew these 4 corner pieces together. And we're going to try to match the inside of the curve. That's the important part because the outside has been fudged, so it's just a hair bigger. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. So you want to make sure that the inside of the curve matches perfectly. Now, there was one of these. Okay. There. And there. Oops. There we go. Just like so. And just like so. Now make sure this is not twisted as you're sewing them together. The other thing I want to talk to you about is making sure your pattern's at the right size. Because I believe one of these blocks, didn't matter how I printed it or what I did to it, I could not get it to measure. This outer edge needs to measure 6.5. The outer portion of the wheel, the pattern, the paper pattern, and it couldn't do it. So what you have to do is draw it on your own, right? Now I'm just going to press open because I can. I'm going to press open here as well. Just so I get a nice little flat thing going here. There. Now the inside of this is nice curve. It's a nice curve. Anyways, I had to correct the pattern because it was not, it absolutely refused to be sewn that way. Now, what I'm going to do, okay. So I'm just going to mark every 4th, right? Because this is going to fit nicely because it's a big curve, right? And I'm just going to pop this in here. I guess I don't need to because that's where the seams are, right? Oh well, we'll pop. Well, we're pinning now. Might as well continue. Sometimes the pins help you maneuver this just a bit without pulling too much, right? That's also important. Now I could line this up and do the 8ths and all that, but this is such a large curve, we're not going to do that. Okay. Now, where is the straight of grain is right here. So that goes under first, that goes under next. There we go. And we're just going to lay that down, just like so. And move this right out of the way. So basically, for the beginner, you're now doing 2 inset seams with pieces. Now, if you wanted to, you could move this and put in your 8ths, like you could mark it like not just 4 times but 8 times. That's up to you. I am pretty confident this will maneuver around here really quickly and not cause too many issues because it is such a large curve. Okay, and get this off. There we go. There. There. Nice. Nice, neat, even curve. There. Okay, let's get the next part done, the next quarter done. Oops. Okay. You just want to make sure that this stays flat. Okay. There we go. That's halfway. Yeah. So anyways, when it comes to checking your patterns, right? Like this one definitely has a 6.5 inch piece, right? Make sure that yours measures 6.5 inches. I cannot get the 1 inch test. I'm using a different program and I cannot get the 1 inch test on here and I'm like, oh good grief. So yeah, there's that. Okay. There. And the last little bit. Okay. See, this is much easier. Much easier to sew once it's a bigger piece. I know people love doing these at like where they're finished at 6 inches and it's like, yeah, this is curved. It's really tough to sew. But some of those people too, they're hand sewing that curve because it's just such a fun little block. And I'm like, okay, well, we can make it just a hair bigger for everybody to be able to sew. And it'll be fine. Okay, so there we go. Now, the logical thing would be to press out, right? Because you've got so many seams around here that it might just lay flatter. So again, you take your thumbnail, the miracle presser of that man has invented. I can find this all the time. There's some people that don't have nails and they can't do this. And, or they have fingernails that are really soft. Well, when you do enough of this, okay, so there it is. So there we go. Now, what I did in the back, because I've left this a little big, I have to trim it now, right? What we did in the back is we pressed so that the seams are going in this way around the circle, right? Because of all those seams, that's where it wants to push naturally. On this way, it wants to press out. Because, again, because of all the seams. Now, if you notice there's rippling on the outer edges, the outer corners, you may have to trim and clip just where the red is, right, on this block, right? Just because it gives it a little more ease to lie flat. So let me give this a good press, and I'll trim it up, and we'll come back with our ta-da moment. So here is our block jelly donut. Now this is such a cutie, so fun, so simple. The inner curve is, yeah, it's a little tight. Take your time. Take your time. Don't go crazy. Make sure your seams are pressed to the dark on that outer ring, and take your time doing the outer ring, because basically you got 2 inset circles that you're sewing in here. And then I cheated and made these a little bigger so I could trim to 12.5. And that's kind of a built-in cheat that I do. Make sure when you're doing your pattern, printing your pattern, the pieces for this L shape are the right size, and if not, just continue drawing it. Because like I say, didn't matter what I did to that piece, it was not drawing out correctly. So, but this one was fun. Now, for the intermediates, again, you have a smaller circle, and you have more piecing on the outside. This is wheels, right? Everybody has a different variation of wheels that they like to do. And, you know, sometimes they're round, sometimes they're not. I just really love this one. This is almost like a transparent wheel. Like you could play with your darks, your mediums, your lights, and you could have all sorts of fun with this particular block if you were going to make an entire quilt out of it. Now, the hard, guys, I gave you my favorite quilt block. And I just love a good castle wall. And this one came together. Yes, it's not circular, but it has multiple Y seams, and it's just adorable when it's done. I still cannot believe how beautiful castle walls are. I just love castle walls to death. And I do hope you're trying some of these blocks and you're having fun with some of them. You know, the intermediate ones, this one was a little more challenging, but it's doable. It is doable. So, like I say, I hope you're sewing along and having fun with this, and your 1/4 inch seam is going absolutely perfect. So you have an amazing day, and stay well until we see each other again. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.